Abdul Kalam. Remember him? He was a beautiful man. Not in the Bollywood sense of the term. I had the occasion to interact with him on 2-3 occasions, very, very closely. One was before he became president. We were together on a committee created by the Chief Vigilance Commissioner called Clean India Committee. And he could speak Malayalam. So whenever we had lunch, we would sit together and talk to each other in Malayalam. And then when he was president, he constituted a group of what he called spiritual leaders, and somehow I was included in the group. So in order to come together and think on various issues, particularly environment-related issues. So I've always found the time with him extremely inspiring. And the beauty of it is that he never tries to impress. And therefore he inspires. Either you impress or you inspire. You can't be doing both. I would commend this to you, that you study his life and derive from him the inspiration for your life. All right? All right, now I just want to pick one idea from what Pushpesh said and add a specific thought to it, then move on to new areas. All right? You know, there are times when we feel highly irritated, very upset. Often we don't realize why this is happening to us. Or even if we realize, it's always a bit too late. You expect things to happen in a certain way, they don't happen, and you throw a tantrum. I remember being in Palam Airport some years ago, waiting to catch a flight to Calcutta, Indian Airlines flight. And it got late, inordinately late, more than 3 hours late. So the ground staff served us dinner, and one of the passengers took that plate of food and flung it, just to show his anger. And it left me thinking, and I thought and thought and thought. Why should somebody show distemper of this kind in public? My limited understanding, which is relevant to all this, is this, that all of us work with certain assumptions and certain ideas of our own entitlement. And there is a need to critique those or interrogate those assumptions and entitlements. Pushpesh talked about, you know, billionaires and poor people, so on and so forth. That's why I'm introducing this. Let me take a very familiar example. You have a study table at home. Now, one day you try to open the drawer of the study table. It got jammed. You pulled once, it didn't come open. You pulled a second time, didn't, third didn't, and you just exploded. Right? Does it happen? Now, have you ever wondered why it happens? I'm going to explain to you why. And it's important for us to know these things. Because this is down-to-earth stuff, the stuff that life is made of. And we must develop a perspective on these things as well. The reason why you get so upset to the point of perhaps kicking the table, is that you assume that the drawer must come open smoothly when you pull it. Right? Suppose you repeat the same activity on the assumption that it is in the nature of every drawer to get stuck. Suppose you do that. Then you will not get upset. Then you will not throw a tantrum. Then you will not kick the poor table. Right? Many of our vexations, irritations, exasperations are because of the assumptions that we entertain and the entitlements that we insist on. And we must know that all these are relative and artificial. Many of our assumptions about what we are entitled to are not sustainable. Simply because we have grown up in privilege, we think that we have a right to have everything laid up for us, everything must happen smoothly, and everything must be up to my taste, and my will must prevail. All these things must be interrogated. That will help you to lead a more balanced and healthy life. Now let me come to the point I wanted to make today. See, we have come back to the original text. Have you noticed? You're still on asking. All right? Now, I will not, of course, give you a set of questions to ask. That's the last thing a person should do. My task, my purpose, my goal is to illumine certain vistas, shall I use a more ambitious word, horizons, within which you can formulate your own questions. Because questions are to be asked to oneself. You remember many assemblies ago I told you that the most important fundamental interrogation is the interrogation of the self by the self. One has to question oneself. We are experts in questioning others, whereas what we really need to do is to learn to question oneself. So with that end in view, we are continuing our journey together. Now, my mind goes back some 60 years when the American anthropologist cum psychiatrist Erich Fromm gave a talk on human rights. And his title was Human Rights from a Psychiatrist's Point of View. Right? Human rights from a psychiatrist's point of view. I'll very briefly summarize what he said and then I move on to something else. He said, you know, the economists, if you ask an economist as to what human rights means, he will have his own answers, and very likely he will say, human rights from an economic perspective means ensuring that the material needs of every human being are met. And also, conditions are created to facilitate the development of the human person functionally so that he can exist free of want in the given society. Suppose you ask the same question to a political scientist. Very likely the political scientist would say, human rights means the freedom to express oneself in the public domain without fear of reprisal, without fear of being punished for free speaking, and the opportunity to resort to meaningful action in the public sphere. Right? Now, if you ask a lawyer, a legal expert, perhaps the lawyer would say human rights means the protection of these identified, listed areas of human entitlements that are considered very basic to being human. But then he goes on to say that if you ask me as a psychologist or psychiatrist, I would say that human rights fundamentally should mean the right to be. The right to be. Obviously, the right to be fully human. Right? And I believe that that's also the purpose of education. If we are fully human, if we develop our talents, abilities properly, then everything else will be taken care of. Now, keeping that at the back of our minds, I want to take you now very briefly to three possibilities in this area identified by a Danish philosopher to whom I have referred earlier, Søren Kierkegaard. He says there are three possible attitudes to life, three approaches to life. And I'll very briefly explain what those approaches are so that you will have an instrument or a checklist for interrogating yourself. It's all right to say interrogate oneself, or all right to say, well, from today onwards I'm going to subject myself to scrutiny and interrogation, but you need a framework for it. Otherwise, how will you interrogate yourself? So I'm trying to equip you to enter into that important human responsibility. Without self-interrogation, there is no growth, there is no progress forward. So he says the first attitude is what he calls the aesthetic attitude. Now, the hallmark of the aesthetic attitude is enjoyment. And this attitude to life will accommodate a whole range of subdivisions, ranging from the vulgar taste to refined taste at the top and a lot of things in between, all of which are pursued simply because they give pleasure. So the dominant consideration, the driving motive, is to afford oneself pleasure. Or let's use a more dignified term, happiness, as happiness is understood, which is a problematic thing anyway, but I will not go into it at this stage. So whatever you do, for example, some students like certain subjects, certain textbooks, and they neglect others. And if you were really to ask yourself why it is that you are averse to reading this text or doing that course, very likely now you will come to the conclusion that your approach is not intellectual or academic, your approach is aesthetic. Right? So whatever makes me happy, whatever I can enjoy, I will do. The others I will not do. So what is that attitude? It's the aesthetic attitude. Now, I'm not going to use Kierkegaard's words because it will become very difficult for you. I will change his terminology completely, bring it down to the level of our ordinary life so that the basic principles can be understood. All right? Now, when you seek pleasure, you can seek pleasure at the lowest levels. I once used the image of the pig that goes digging its nose in the muck. Remember? That kind of. I mean, contemporary tastes, as you know, have suffered an alarming degree of degradation. That which is of no nourishment to the human person, that which is vulgar, mere garbage, is preferred over profound things, the details of which I will refrain from referring to. And when these things happen, when there is a temptation to go into it simply because somebody else does it, we should never fail to ask ourselves, where am I headed? Or why is it that I have this kind of proclivity, this kind of attraction, this kind of inclination? Why is it that this thing attracts me more than the others? For example, pulp literature, right? You may prefer pulp literature to classics. Now, this could be justified in a variety of ways. So let's not get into a debate. I'm only giving you an illustration. So, from being a vulgar aesthete to a refined aesthete, there is a whole spectrum of leading a life that is oriented to aesthetics, right? Which is the pursuit of beauty, simply because beauty affords pleasure. Is that clear? Right. The second attitude, says Kierkegaard, is the ethical attitude. Now, before I go to the second attitude, maybe I should give you an illustration, a refined illustration, so that it becomes clear. Now, suppose you buy a branded t-shirt, for example. Now, the same thing, of course, can be got for 1/5 of the price, the same stuff, but brands are important for us, right? That's why St. Stephen's College also is such a craze, brand value, right? So whether it is clothes, whether it is education, whether it is car, everything is brand value, because our own personal worth is tied up with brand value. Right? Okay, so when you go for this branded t-shirt, at the point of, or at the prospect of acquiring it, you are greatly excited, right? And at the point of buying it, you are still excited. On the first day of wearing it, you are still somewhat excited. But within 1 week, it dies as an item of desire. And it sinks into utter commonality. Have you noticed it? And then you are looking for the next stuff. Then you are looking for a substitute to fill in the vacuum created by the fading out of this item of desire from the list of excitement, right? And this happens. All the time this is happening. So you must understand that the logic behind this is that your approach is not actually pragmatic. You're not acquiring something because of its usefulness or because it's meeting a practical need. You are buying it for psychological reasons, right? And you think that you can add a touch of beauty to your life by draping yourself in this kind of stuff. That's the attitude. You must understand these things very clearly, because we seem to lack understanding on these issues. So this is now clear. This is the aesthetic approach. Now come to the ethical. The ethical is concerned largely with the question of right or wrong. Now, an illustration of this would be a parent, for example. When the parents look at you, and this is a very immediate issue, right? Very often we are exasperated with parents, their decisions, their priorities. You must understand why. You could be located in the aesthetic. Your parent could be located in the ethical. So there is a difference in category and the emotional, intellectual, cultural, spiritual maturity to negotiate the difference in categories is not with us. Therefore, immediately it becomes a point of conflict. So the parents will always look at issues concerning their children from the ethical perspective. Is it right or wrong? Now, right or wrong also means, in terms of a long-term perspective, will it do good or bad? You may want this, for example, you may want, I remember 2 years ago, a doctor from Manipur came to see me. His son was studying in college and creating troubles one after the other. So I had to call him. He came to see me. And he was virtually weeping. He said, "Sir, I'm a doctor. I don't really earn much. But when my son got admitted to St. Stephen's College, as a family, we really got very excited. But the first thing my son said was that he would not come to St. Stephen's College unless he was given a BMW. So the father had to borrow a large sum of money to buy a BMW for his son, which he did. Understand? Now, If I were in his place, I would have said, darling, don't study in St. Stephen's College. That's fine. But I will not borrow a rupee from anyone to indulge you. You want a BMW, sweat for it. When the time comes, you buy. But when you sweat for it, you will not actually spend that money. If you have sweated for it, you think it's easy money, and therefore you think you want this, your entitlement is this car or that car or whatever. Well, it's a long story, I will not go into it. What I'm saying is that there are these conflicts because people are relating to each other from different categories, from different sectors of orientation. All right? So, when you get into any conflict at home, please remember this. Your parents are looking at issues and prospects in terms of what is good or bad for you. Now, you can always say, look, my parents are very antediluvian, they are prehistoric, I live in a new brave world, what do they know about what is good for me? Right? But all this excitement is purely on the surface. That excitement will not last. The moment you catch common cold, your perspective changes, right? All these pretensions and assumptions you're strutting on the stage of life is really a balloon which will not stand the prick of a little pin. But perhaps you're too young to know this. So that is the ethical, right? Now the ethical has its place. Please understand. If the ethical were to be excluded from life, life will be in a state of continuous danger. Right? But the ethical is not the end of the story because every paradigm of ethics is limited. So you have a point. But you should not think that you straight away stand on the shoulders of your parents. Simply because you have come to St. Stephen's College, you have become wiser than Socrates, and therefore you will not listen to the parents. The parents have no right to counsel me. They better learn from me. That is not right. Okay? So I have had time today to introduce only two attitudes. Tomorrow, that is in case Dr. Mathur is not speaking, I will introduce a third and take you further along this line. I sincerely, humbly plead with you to reflect on these things. Please understand the value of these insights. They are not my insights. These are the insights from which I have learned in the journey of my life. If you really want to develop a human perspective on your own life, if you want to be just and fair in your dealings with people, including the dear ones, and in the end, if you really want to do justice to yourself, these are the things that will stand you in great stead over a long period of time. No sensation lasts. No titillation lasts. A pleasurable sensation that lasts will become a painful sensation. For example, suppose you laugh intensely. You enjoy it, right? But can you laugh for 5 hours? Your sides will split and then you will make such a pretty figure. You cannot. Every sensation is by definition short-lived. Let's rise for prayer.